And I want to thank you for joining me again this week. Missing my co-host Dave Myers. David, hey, hope you're watching the show. Dave has got to play the role of an attorney today, which he actually is. So we'll miss him today. But real quick, I've got a really good topic that I want to talk about today. I think it'll bring you a lot of value and kind of open your eyes a little bit to something you may not think about very much, and that's voice over IP phone systems. The the short is this is that most law firms, not most, many law firms don't really think about their phone systems, and they don't really think about how the phone systems make them money or help them gain new clients. And really, honestly, it's one of the lifebloods of a law firm. Most of the leads come from either websites or from phone calls, right? But no matter what, you've got to call and communicate to your clients to make them clients, right? So really, in all actuality, your phone system is probably one of the most important pieces of technology you actually own in your law firm. But sadly, it's really not thought about that much. So today, we're going to talk about that phone system. We're going to talk about what a new phone system looks like, some differences between those types of phone systems, old phone systems and new phone systems. We're going to talk about how that a new phone system can help you make money and get clients. And then we're going to talk about some things to consider, some gotchas also. But at the end, I'll have a nice piece of information, a nice document that you can actually just go get and read all about. So the short is that we're going to talk about voice over IP today. So how does a phone system cost you money, right? Well, let's face it, when you're out of the office and you're not able to take calls and you've got to take it on your cell phone or make it on your cell phone, that's costing you, right? You need to be able today in business, as it is right now as a lawyer, you need to be able to work just about anytime, anywhere. Unfortunately, it's that way. I don't make the rules. I work pretty much myself. But I need to be able to communicate with people when and wherever I need to communicate. I can't be held up, especially if it's a new customer, if it's a new potential client, right? I got to tell you, I was taking my kid back to college on a Saturday, and I got an email from a form fill on my website. And the first thing I did on the way to taking my kid back to college, I know I probably, sorry for the background noise. I decided to do construction under me today at the same time as the show. But the first thing I did when I got that email popped up on my phone, because an alert always popping up on my phone from those, is I called that person. Well, I don't want to see them unprofessional and call them from my cell phone and let them scrape my cell phone number, right? I don't want them calling me on my cell phone. I especially don't want them calling my staff on their cell phones. So I have an app on my phone from our phone system, and I actually called that person back right away, right? Immediately. And so we played a little bit of phone tag. I left a message for them. They called me back and left a message on my phone system for my business. They didn't call me back on my cell phone. I didn't want that. Okay. I wanted them to call me back on my business line. So, I was able to actually land a meeting for the following Monday, because I was able to communicate with them right away. Could I have done it with my cell phone? Yeah, could have done it with my cell phone. Probably not the best way that most lawyers want to do that, because they don't want people to get their cell phone numbers. So that's a story of how, by the way, they're making a decision this Friday. And so we're hoping we'll win them over. But nevertheless, if I hadn't been able to actually be professional, call them back and handle that in a manner in which it was efficient, I wouldn't have been able to get to the point at which I am able to potentially win that business. So, you never want to miss a phone call. If they're calling your office, if a potential client is calling your office, I don't know where you stand, but I don't want to miss a potential client call, right? You got to strike while the iron's hot, because what you have to consider is that these people that are calling you, they're just going down a list on Google, and nope, didn't get an answer, going to the next one. Nope, didn't get an answer. Boom, talk to this person. I'm done calling. I've got an appointment set up. That's how people work. So you don't want to miss those calls. If your phone system cannot forward your calls to a mobile phone app, Okay. Again, I don't believe in using your cell phone for business. All right. But if it can't forward it to your to a mobile phone app or give the ability to call somebody back, without giving up your cell phone, it's an antiquated phone system, right? Or maybe you just are okay. Maybe you're okay with your cell phones. That's if that's you, that's fine. If that's you, that's fine. It's probably not a good podcast for you right now. But a new business phone system will help you take calls anywhere you're at. So let's give another example. You need to go out to lunch. You need to go to court. You need to go do a client visit, right? And you're going to leave the office. Well, somebody calls the office, and you're expecting that call, by the way, when while you're gone, because it's important as well as your meeting is. Somebody calls the office. The person receptionist is going to take that call and be able to actually transfer that call to the app on your phone, right? Not to your cell phone. Again, not to your cell phone, because we want call logging, and I'll explain why in a little while. But they're going to be able to transfer that call to your app on your cell phone that's part of your business phone voice over IP system. And you're not going to miss that. They can either say, hey, Tom, I've got this call for you. Hey, Mary, I've got this call for you. Do you want to take the call? Mary says, yeah, I'll take the call. And then she presses the receptionist presses a button, and you're talking to your client. Or they can just blindly transfer it. You could actually set it up so your calls just transfer to your mobile phone while you're out of the office, but you don't have to miss that call again. So the ability to take those calls and make those calls wherever you're at is powerful. Again, if you're dealing with a cell phone and you're fine with a cell phone, this is not a important content to you, and I get that. And everybody does business differently. So the other thing is that most antiquated phone systems, most of the older phone systems, when you get a voicemail, it's just in a voicemail box that you've got to call and you've got to check on. Okay. That's really cumbersome, really inconvenient. It takes time to do that. Instead, a new hosted voice over IP system is going to send that voicemail right to your email. So you're just going to be able to click your email and look at it. No more calling in and checking it. Just boom, right there it is. What is nice about that also is now you can forward that to your case management system, to a document management system, to your CRM system, or to somebody else to maybe follow up for you. Okay. Again, the ability to track it, the ability to handle it, the ability to maybe delegate it, okay, makes you money, makes you more efficient. The other thing is that that a lot of people don't think about this. I know that the vast majority of consumers today, especially in consumer-based areas of law, okay, where you're not dealing with businesses, you're dealing with maybe an individual or a family or something like that. They love to text message. Can you blame them? I text message all day long. I live by it. The problem with text messaging with my phone is that it's on my phone. Okay. And although I'm a business owner, okay, maybe if I thought about it, that still wouldn't be the best way for me to handle that because there's no traceability for it. It's on my cell phone, there and gone. I can't track it for a billing system. I have to go through extra steps for all that. I don't want to use my phone for text messaging. I also don't want my staff using their phones for text messaging. I want that communication benefit of text messaging and SMS text messaging, but I don't want to lose the important information that's being sent. So some, not all business phone systems today, newer voice over IP phone systems have the ability to actually text. The ones we deal with do. Okay. So what happens when I get a text message and I'm text messaging with someone? I'm text messaging with my business telephone number. I'm not text messaging with my cell phone number. Once again, nobody's scamming and stealing your cell phone number to call you in the middle of the night when you don't want to call. Nobody's getting those cell phone numbers of your associates that when they leave, guess what? Communication's over and you've got no control over it. Also the text messaging is not traceable or trackable or billable for that matter for your associates. So the ability to text message within that voice over IP phone app that comes with the good business phone system is invaluable, right? So let me just kind of digress for 1 second here and tell you, I deal with two main phone systems myself, and I know there's a lot out there. Okay. I understand. But the two that I deal with are Microsoft Teams phones Okay. And Citricom. Citricom, hands down, love that phone system. Been dealing with them for 10 years. The owner's an old friend of mine. I've known him for a long time too. And we get exceptional service. Yes, there's Zoom phones out there. There's Vonage out there. There is, all kinds of phone systems out there that you could look at. But hands down, I find that these two are the most reliable systems. Now, Teams phones, and whether you choose Teams phones or whether you choose Citricom, it depends. And we typically have conversations about what's important to you. So just want to kind of put that out on the table. So as I'm talking about these systems, you kind of have a frame of reference of what Jim is saying and what systems. So again, that's Microsoft Teams phones. It integrates with part of Microsoft Teams phone, Teams in Microsoft 365, and Citricom. All right, I'll put some more information out about both of those. So, I just can't say enough about not letting your cell phone number get skimmed. I loathe that in business. I love talking to my customers, and I will talk to them anywhere and anytime. And I honestly, I use both my cell phone number and my Citricom phones as well to communicate with them. To me, it's okay if they call me in the middle of the night. We have a nice understanding, but I don't want any of my staff. So I can't talk enough about having the ability to control the communications with that customer using a new phone system. So, if an attorney should leave, I know we have ethical obligations on how to let clients know they've left and give them the choice on who they want to go with, stay with the firm or stay with the attorney that's departing. But at least we can control that as a firm. We can control that a little bit more, and we can then say, okay, this person's leaving. Let's take that telephone number and forward it to us, to our receptionist. That's the attorney's text message, or I'm sorry, the attorney's cell phone. My apologies. That's the attorney's direct dial number in our phone system. We forward that to the receptionist, and the receptionist can say, okay, Sue's no longer with us. She's a part of this firm. Let me transfer you if you want to, right? Or give them another telephone number to call alternatively. These are ways we can control it and make sure that we're making sure that we are handling that, not just letting it go off into the ether any way it wants to go. Here's another big one. This is a huge one. Most of the antiquated phone system, the old phone systems that are out there, don't do really good jobs at logging calls. Now, it's important to log calls if you ask me. One, because you want traceability, you want to know who's doing what. All right. And the other thing is for billing, for capturing billing. Attorneys are notorious for making a phone call and not tracking it. I get that. We're busy. We have a lot of things on our plate. I understand, lawyers just can't capture it all. But what if you could take a call log and you could say, okay, well, that 15 minutes was to that person. And then also, by the way, the phone system can record calls, and that can be announced. So there's state to state rules on that, but they can record calls. So you can go back and listen to the content. So as an attorney, we're busy. So we give those call logs, or our assistant pulls those call logs and listens to the corresponding voicemails and then enters a time entry for us. Yes, it takes time, but time, we're losing money if we're not doing that. So imagine you talk to somebody for half an hour, you forgot to log that. An assistant can actually grab that information and bill it for you. I think that's invaluable. Now, I don't want to go too in depth with call recording, but I think call recording is very important if your state allows it, if your rules and ethics allow it. Call recording is important for quality control. Did I say such and such? Did they say such and such? It's also, if it is if it's something that we're trying to figure out, what was the content of the conversation, what little detail did I miss? Hey, go listen to that call for me and find out what I forgot. Very important thing to record calls, and so on and so forth. Again, I'm not talking about the legalities of it. I don't pretend to be an attorney on it, but it is a functionality that's there. Here's a couple of other things that are not functionality and features and stuff like that. I mean, there's all kinds of things like auto attendance, call routing, call forwarding, so on. And there's all kinds of great stuff. But think about it like this. What if somebody told you that you could spend less on a new phone system, right? A new hosted voice over IP phone system. By the way, these phone systems are in the cloud. There's nothing to buy, right? Matter of fact, there's no handsets to buy. They come for free. So what if you could implement a new phone system, spend a little bit of money, and but you're saving it monthly and over your existing phone system and the phone lines and the internet costs that you've got going on right now. That's compelling. Now we're talking about saving money, which hits the bottom line directly. So what we say is, phone systems that are hosted are generally cheaper than their on-premise counterparts to replace, first off, okay? And second off, generally less expensive than the telephone lines and the internet service that you have. And if you don't have the right internet service, or we can get you new internet service, now you can really recoup. Now you can really recognize some good savings on these. So, the other thing is I'm not a big fan of contracts. And so the systems that I deal with, Citricom and Microsoft Teams phones, they don't have contracts right now. And so it's been a long time since I've seen a contract come out of those. If you're looking at a hosted voice over IP carrier that has a contract, kind of stay away from that. They lock you in. Not a big fan of the phone company because they lock you into contracts. So, that's one thing I like to cut the cord from the phone company. Here's one of the really big things about hosted voice over IP phone systems. When you get one and it works well, and the ones that we put in place do, I will say that you will probably never have to replace your phone system ever again. So think about it. Every, I don't know, 5-10 years or so, you're replacing your phone system and you're spending, I don't know, $15,000 for that. Depending on the size of your firm, I've seen voice over IP phone implementations go from anywhere from $5,000 all the way up to $10,000. The cost of the hardware alone is that much, plus the implementation from a phone company, right? A phone consulting company. So, definitely the way to go. It's going to be cheaper to get a new phone system, not to mention making you money. So we're talking about making you money, saving you money, and also never having to replace it. So future savings too. Here's kind of a cool thing. Voice over IP phone systems, you're not relegated to a handset if you don't want to be, right? Today I'm not a fan of having of not having a handset just because I like it at the desk. But what I find are the people in my office, they like the computer apps for the phone system, or they like the mobile phone apps for the phone system. So it gives you about 3 ways to deal with it. Plus there's web apps too. So it gives you 3 or 4 ways to actually take and make calls so you can be in the office anywhere you want to be. Your vacation home, your you're working from home. You don't have to have that desk phone come with you. You can have an app and almost always be connected if you want to be. Now I know people say like, well, when I'm at those places, I want to be disconnected. Well, some people are not like that. I like to be connected everywhere. That's the way I am. I'm a business person through and through. It's my life. There are certain times that I don't want to take calls and I put it on do not disturb, but most of the time I like to be in the office and ready to accept the call. So the other thing is that these phone systems also integrate with other apps. So in particular, Microsoft Teams, which is a great piece of software from Microsoft 365. Think about it. I have meetings in that application all the time. I had chat with my counterparts in my office all the time. I keep my documents and they're available in that app all the time. I keep notes in that app all the time. You know what? Boom, I can make a phone call from that app anytime, anywhere, both on the mobile phone app and on the desktop app. And if I want to get a team phone on my desktop, I can do that too through Microsoft Teams. Citricom integrates with a lot of different softwares as well. So lots of integrations with third parties, whereas a business phone system that you've got, for the last 10 years is not integrating with anything most of the time. It's just taking and making calls and keeping voicemail, not to mention how expensive it is to upgrade it and maintain it if it goes, problematic on you. If the hardware fails, you're out of luck. Whereas if you have a hosted phone system, these things are up, not 99.999% of the time they're up. So, and again, no contracts and free desk phones. Here's a couple things to consider. And I got a couple notes because voice over IP phone systems are not for everybody. Hosted phone systems are not for everybody. I want to differentiate two different types of voice over IP phone systems for you. So, voice over IP phone system that I'm talking about is a no hardware internet based phone system. You don't see the phone system. There's no physical hardware you ever deal with. It's a software as a service, basically. Some people call it unified communications as a service solution. Okay. So that's great. The other thing is that the phones plug into your network. They plug right into your network, just like your computer does. As a matter of fact, you take the computer network jack and plug it into your phone, and then you jack your computer into your phone. Real easy to do. So you only need one wire. Some voice over IP phone systems that you buy plug into your network. But are not internet based. In other words, they require telephone lines to work. At some, they go to a network switch and then eventually go to a piece of hardware that converts it into the regular public switch telephone network. That's not what we're talking about. Those aren't what I consider to be voice over IP phone systems. It's a voice over IP. It's not a hosted phone system. It's a voice over IP. It is network based and voice over IP, but it's not really hosted. So you're still dealing with hardware. So a couple other things to consider here. What I always get this question whenever we're talking about these. What if your internet goes down? Well, if your internet goes down at your office, no problem, not a problem at all, because your phone system is designed to ring multiple places, so you can have it ring your desk phone, your mobile app on your mobile phone, or even your computer app wherever you're at. So you're not missing those calls. Here's the other thing. Just because your internet goes down, that phone system hasn't gone down. It's still servicing calls. It's just not sending it to not ringing something instead. It's probably sending it to your voicemail, maybe. That's okay, but you need to plan ahead for that. And what do we do if our internet goes down? Today, not a big deal. It used to be a really big deal when voice over IP hosted phone systems, when the internet went down, those systems went dead. That's not like that anymore with all of the backup options. And they just work. There's nothing special that you have to do. We always plan in advance for it. The other thing to consider is your firewall, internet connection. Do you have good enough internet connection or the right kind of internet connection? Also, your firewall. If you don't, we test for all that stuff. And also your firewall. What kind of firewall is it? Is it a firewall? Can it handle the traffic? Is it going to degrade the call quality? Because we cannot let anything degrade the call quality. So those are things to have evaluated when you're looking at a phone system. Short, sweet, and simple. I really think the other thing, one more thing. What is your contract with your phone company right now? I've got some bird dancing behind us. That's kind of funny. But what's your contract or your phone system right now? Can you do this switch? Can you get out of your phone contract? Many times it's worth it to just keep paying the contract because it's so much cheaper. So those are things that I have helped people evaluate, and whoever you're looking at, you should have them help you evaluate too. But probably to me, the number one most important thing, it's not features, it's not text messaging, it's not, call recording, it's not any of that stuff at all. What it is, Kim is asking a question here. I'll answer in a second. What is really important is, what type of support do they have? How good is their support? Okay. You really need to make sure that company isn't leaving on a cold. I know some phone systems out there you'll sell you a phone system, but their support is miserable, or you got to pay for support. So that's very important. Kim is asking, which voice over IP provider do we use? I think I answered it. We recommend Citricom. Citricom's fantastic, Kim. We really think they have great support. Like I just said, it's fantastic. Plus, we work with them in tandem. You can go direct to them, and you can come to us. We really enjoy working with them. They're very, very, very customer friendly. They started from a managed service provider like our company SpliceNet our company SpliceNet, which hosts No Law Firm Left Behind. They were a managed service provider. They spun off their phone company, but they understand the value of a customer, and that's really important to us. So thanks for asking that question, Kim. Good question. A couple quick things. I didn't mean for this to be as long as it is. Hey, I'm glad it was. A lot of great content here. A lot of people don't know what to do or where to go, okay, and how to get started. So what I will say is I put this together a long time ago. Again, today's show is not to get you to buy a phone system for me. Today's show is about really just educating you on voice over IP phone systems and how they can make your firm money and get you new clients. But I put together this buyer's guide probably about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. It's still very relevant. I would implore you to go download it. It is not gated. This is absolutely free. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit.ly link, so I'm tracking how many people get it, but I don't know anything about you. Okay. So by all means, go grab this. Go grab this free report. It's about 20 pages or so. Lots of great important information. Some of the stuff that I didn't have to cover in today's show is in this report, but it's absolutely free, not gated. I'm not taking any information or anything like that. Obviously, if you're interested in talking about voice over IP phone systems, my contact information is at the end. So you're welcome to go get that. And if you haven't gotten the link, it's a bit.ly link, bit.ly so it's bit.ly/VoIP buyer's guide, no spaces. That's just a shorter link shortener because it's a long link for this one. So again, I'm Jim Gast, and I appreciate coming to No Law Firm Left Behind, listening and watching. If you're not a member of our group on LinkedIn, please go out and join it. So just go to LinkedIn, search for No Law Firm Left Behind. You'll find a page that you'll want to follow and a group that you want to join. Please join both of those. And also, if you don't get our magazine, this is actually not the most recent. We've got our February-March edition coming out, but great information in the magazine for business owners and legal professionals, law firm owners and legal professionals. Lots of great information. So subscribe. Just send me a PM in either one of those locations, and you can sign up to get our No Law Firm Left Behind magazine. It's a print magazine, comes out every other month, so we're real proud of it. If you're looking for our past shows and other great information like this, you can go to splice.net/No Law Firm Left Behind. That link is all of our past shows, and you'll get our podcast links in there as well. By all means, go there and download it, but you'll see it on LinkedIn as well. You'll find us on all the major podcast platforms. You can search No Law Firm Left Behind on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, so on and so forth. So listen, I hope today's show was valuable. I hope you found a little bit of good information out of some good tidbits. If you want to, evaluate your phone system and determine if it's something you should be looking at, just private message me anywhere you like. I'm happy to help you out. So again, Jim Gass, No Law Firm Left Behind. Take care. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. I believe we're going to have Dave back on the show, and hopefully we're going to follow up on talking about steps to take after a cybersecurity breach. So hope you have a great